Hi, and welcome back to another AI in 5. I'm your host, Simon Chris. Joining me today is Maude. Now, Hannah's an AI transformation consultant, and we're going to be talking about the intersection of AI and the retail environment. Hi, Hannah, and welcome to AI in 5. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. This is the perfect way to start the week. So thank you.
It really is. We're recording this on a Monday. It's a good thing to do. We're going to jump right in because we've only got 5 minutes. One of the areas that I know you specialize in and I'm really interested in is this intersection of AI and retail, because retail has always predominantly been a human meeting human type business. How do you see AI playing into that now?
Yeah, thank you. Retail is one of the most exciting industries that I don't necessarily think it always gets the kudos that it deserves. But if you think about retail and that we are all going shopping, if we're doing food shopping, everyone is buying online or in person. Imagine what that means to data, the data that retailers get hold of, the operations. So my background, lots of retail experience in the UK, and then I moved over to the supplier side over here. So I'm really used to the operations of Sainsbury's and Asda in the UK, Coles and Woolworths over here, and the operations to get all of these different SKUs onto the shelf and serving of these thousands, millions of customers online and in store every day is a mammoth job. So where I'm seeing AI, and also there is where I hope to see it as well, AI has kind of been used in the operations to some degree for a while. One of the most exciting areas, if you're in that world, is stock management.
Yeah.
Now you might think sounds a little bit not that exciting, but when you are all trying to optimize your sales, it's so important that you've got the right quantities on the shelf of the brand, of the SKU, of the type that your customer wants. You don't just lose that sale. Sometimes you lose a whole basket if someone can't find their olive oil, for example, on the shelf. And sometimes you might even lose their loyalty as well. So managing stock inventory is one of the most valuable areas when it comes to, because there's so much money tied up in stock. And then when we think about customer facing, the ability now to personalize offers and deals that are much more uniquely meant for you. You know, when personalization first started with loyalty cards, you'd still get some quite random targeted deals, whereas now it gets much more targeted. So Sainsbury's in the UK, for example, they've now done it so you can go into store and you can get 10 personalized coupons printed back for you when you go to the self-service checkout.
Wow.
And that's just really cool technology, but also really beneficial when prices are tight and consumers are trying to spend as little as possible. Aren't you going to go to Sainsbury's where you can get this buzz, where you can get these coupons printed out of things that are relevant for you? There are just two big areas, really, but there's a lot more that's happening.
Are we seeing much of the adoption of vision-based AI? You know, for a while there was talk about using security footage almost to discover high traffic areas or to discover that people stop and look at this shelf, but if it's not at eye level, they move on. Or, you know, has that now kind of grown out? Is that a thing?
So eye tracking was a big thing back in the day. IKEA have done a lot of work around that, where they've used data to see where people are walking around the store to optimize their store environment. Who doesn't spend a few hours in IKEA? You know, they know how to lay out the store there. In terms of eye tracking, I've not heard about that one for a while. I think what's really exciting and topical is AI agents.
Okay.
And if we actually think about the online store layout, now we're talking about a radical transformation. Okay, so you go onto online, and I've seen how people shop online. They know where they're going. Ridiculously, they normally go to the search bar and put every single item into the search bar, because sometimes it can be hard to navigate, or you've already got your shop bought before list. Well, now what retailers are having to think about is if AI agents are shopping on our site, how do they navigate the site? Because actually, now you're not necessarily designing your store for a consumer, you're designing it for the consumer's agent. And
Mm.
that's going to be the big transition that needs to be made over the next few years, and that will so that's a different way of looking at the data. Now you're looking at who's clicking on what, how long they're spending on each web page. But now what retailers will need to be looking at, or any e-commerce store, is how easy it is for an agent to locate and convert on our site.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Well, believe it or not, we're already at time. But I love to ask everybody the same question. I'll ask it of you. What would be your one bit of advice for an organization just starting their AI journey? What should they do, or what should they be thinking about?
Don't underestimate how much your team already knows about AI.
Ah,
Where you should start is say, we want to know how you're using AI. Everyone's using it, hopefully. Some of them are using it illegally, not so good, but
yeah,
as using the data. But don't underestimate the amount of skills and knowledge that your teams have already got. So I would start by learning what they've got. Number one, that what they already know, because you want to harness everything that they already know. And then you want to look at actually start with pain points. Don't start with AI, start with what the biggest problems are, and then get teams working together on how AI
great,
can help.
great advice, Hannah. And thank you for being a part of AI in 5.
Thank you.